He is. He's still under the weather. He will not travel with us at this point. A little longer. We've had, several handful of guys with it, and his is hit him harder.
When Rasmus and Henry are at their best, I mean, they've played together a while. Like, what are they doing when they're at their best, when they're playing off each other?
Well, you just what the last thing you said. They're playing. They're in a groove together, moving as a pair, complementing each other, communicating better. Lots of defending is. You have two defensemen in playing as a pair, is the term we use quite often. You need to play as a pair. It's not every rush, every play against you. You're working in tandem to try to kill a play. It's not just even though one skater's coming at you or two, you're trying to manipulate things in your favor defensively as a pair. And I think those two have been around each other now for 4 years or so or more, and through practices and repetitions, and I think they read situations in tandem very well.
How have you seen Henry respond? Just sat a couple of games. That's not easy for somebody who's played over 300 in the league at this point. How have you seen him respond to that and not only maintain confidence but build on that?
He has responded very well to that, and it was not easy for him initially, and to be a scratch, to be a healthy scratch, it was. It was a challenge, quite honestly, from us as coaches, that we feel it's not a punishment that you're not playing. It's really a challenge. We feel you're a much better player, and we need you to be a much better player. And his progression through this year to step up. I've said it. One year ago, we all know the data when we missed one defenseman, Matthias Samuelsson. It was a really, really, really challenging situation for us, and I think our attention has gone to really focusing and improving that D core. Bryson's a much better player, and we're talking about Henry. He even from the start of this year, he is a much better hockey player, and we're seeing it and we're benefiting from it. Obviously, with the injuries to Samuelsson and Power.
One of the notable differences, just how quick he is to kill plays. Just really aggressive and decisive.
Decisive is the word we use a lot. You're positioning to then be decisive, and that means you're positioning to a spot on the ice that favors you and ready to jump when that opportunity to jump is projected by you. And he's done a very good job with that, and now that's become much more natural and easy, which means now you can see the ice on the transition better, or where your deep partner is, or what support you have otherwise. So. His reads are much better, and the last part was being very decisive was something that we felt he could make quick improvement on, and he has.
Henry and Rasmus haven't always worked well together in the past. Is it just a matter of time together that's allowing them to be better together?
I think maturity out of Jokiharju and what you're saying. So what you're saying combined with just Henry's game, he's maturing. Again, I felt we needed to challenge him, and part of challenging him was healthy scratching him to get him to fight for more, because his ability far exceeds his and it far exceeded his impact. Is probably the easiest way to say it. We knew we had a guy with a lot more ability than we were seeing an impact, and he was not bad by any point. Was he bad? It was just we need him to be better. In fact, really good, and we felt having him take a step back at times might spur that, and he's playing. I think he's playing the best hockey he's played in the time that I've seen him in the National Hockey League, and that dates back to when we were both in Chicago with the Blackhawks together.
What would be an example of Rasmus Dahlin just playing more efficiently? You mentioned that yesterday. He's cognizant he has to, but what would be just an example within the game of him?
Just picking his spots. When he touches the puck, he tries to go. He tries to make the ideal play happen, and he competes and fights to make the ideal play happen on each puck touch. So there's some times where you have to say, okay, I know the ideal play would be that, to actually go through this guy, then this guy, then this guy. Maybe I can just move it and support, and then see if there's another opportunity exerting less energy. My concern with Rasmus is with the injuries and the minutes we've lost with the guys I've mentioned, is we want him to play more, but the concern is the rest ratio to the work, and he'll come off the ice. We'd love to have him against the top two lines on the other team, because that's what's we're missing with Owen playing against the next line, or Samuelson is their second line. So we're trying to get him to play as much as he can against both those lines. And when he comes off the ice, if he's exerted too much energy on the shift he just finished, you need a longer rest time. So, the initiative is around that. We want to play him more and against, different lines and with different lines, because obviously his offensive ability, if you have him out there with the Thompson line, that means if Middlestead's line goes next, they don't have him. And Owen's obviously, pretty proficient offensively. So that means Middlestead's line doesn't have Owen. So and if you think of the Cousins line, then you think the same thing. And, so we're just using him in so many different scenarios that I think the biggest thing is don't overexert yourself on the shift that you have, because we're watching how much recovery time you need when you get back.
Coach, with winning, obviously being the first one, what are some of the things you really want to see out of your team going this road trip with these much needed points, in particular that you want to see happen to get to where you need to be this week?
Love to see us finish more. We're creating chances, and so that's the obvious for me. Again, if you look at last night's game, finish.
How can a dads and mentors trip really just refresh energy in the room?
Well, I know that the parents, they have every reason, the fathers, to come in here and be extremely proud of their sons and grandsons. We have some grandfathers and other mentors on the trip. How can you not be proud of these guys? And that in itself can be energizing. And it should be energizing. These guys have accomplished a lot in their careers and lives, and in a very, very short time. And they're playing, obviously, at the highest level in the world. So, when you see you see the fathers, the mentors, the grandfathers, and they're very proud of that, and they should be. And I think that's good energy.
I had a chance to chat with Jeff Skinner, and he knows, he knows he wants to score goals. How do you help him? He's been in this league a long time. He's been through things, but it seems like when he gets like this, he tries to force a play, and then it goes the other way. Or how do you get him to, all right, you don't need to force that, and get him to the net where he needs to be, and those things to help him get back on track?
I think you got to, you reassure him is probably the biggest thing. If highly skilled players sometimes either second guess themselves or they press, and I think in those moments, reassurance and confidence in them goes probably the longest way. In hindsight, when I think of these situations and very talented players, it happens in careers. He's a guy that's had a long career. He's had plenty of ups and downs. And then support, as much as you can support him. Obviously, he's still on a line with Thompson and Tuck. It's a pretty good line to be on. He still, I think, leads us in power play minutes. That's a good situation to be in, and so lots of lots of combination of encouragement, but pushing as well. So, and you keep doing it.